So in the last class, we were saying we can use dimensional analysis to analyze a problem in cases where it is not feasible to use analytical methods. And then this can be done with the help of experiment, because the general idea is you have variables, you don't know the function, you basically do experiment. Based upon that experiment, you find this how these are related. But in the last class we have also motivated that if you take all the variables and you perform the experiment separately, this requires a large number of experiments to be performed. So what we can do is we can make variables into different groups, and these groups are called dimensional groups, also called pi terms. So once you have these dimensional groups, using these dimensional group you can analyze the situation easily, and you can basically develop a equation that can be used for future prediction. And this is done using a theorem. This theorem is called Buckingham pi theorem. So is there some noise in the background? Because there are some machine running. Okay, let me wait. I think it will be better now. So this theorem is called Buckingham pi theorem. So using this theorem, you can basically, so we'll discuss this theorem today. So this theorem is related to how many dimensional products are required. So if you are forming some kind of equation, expression, the first question is how many dimensionless products are required. Products are required. So this is one question. Dimensionless product. So we will call each term as a pi term. So this is also called pi terms, or simply you can write pi. So if you have a, let's say you have some variable u1, and you can write as a function of u2, u3, uk, then using Buckingham pi theorem, what you can do is you can re-express the same expression something like this. Pi1 is equals to phi times the phi is a function of pi2, pi3, and pi k minus r. So this you can use according to Buckingham pi theorem. So this is according to this theorem that we just discussed. You can also call this simply pi theorem or Buckingham pi theorem. So using this theorem you can express something like this. So what are the terms here? R is the minimum number of reference dimension required. R is the, so don't worry if you are not getting right now, everything will be clear. Minimum number of reference dimension required. Reference dimension required. So this is the minimum number of reference dimension required. What is the reference dimension? This is same as what you read in your elementary physics. So reference, and this reference dimension can be written either in terms of MLT or FLT. So this reference dimension, basically we will using two terms. One we will using basic dimension, another we will using reference dimension. So later we will explain the difference between these two. So reference dimension can be MLT or it can be other dimension FLT. Now it is possible that in some cases you require only two reference dimensions. because problem can be solved only in length and time dimension. Or in other case, you can require only one dimension. For example, a problem can be solved in terms of length only. So in some cases, only two dimension. For example, you can have LT, or only one dimension. For example, you can have L is required. Only one dimension or only two dimension is required. So there is a term we will use, that is basic dimension. So when we say basic dimension, that is your fundamental dimension. That 7 dimension that you read in SI unit, in here we are only interested in most of the problem we will see mass, length and time. But when we say basic dimensions, so those are the reference dimension that is basically given by international system. So when we say basic dimension, so there are terms that we will use basic dimension. So this means this is related to SI system. You can either use MLT or you can also work in terms of FLT. When we are saying reference dimensions, this means reference dimension means the dimension related to that problem only. So you can have a reference dimension 2, you can have a reference dimension 3, 4, depending upon what are the variables that is in the problem. But the basic dimension is always fixed. So in some cases, you can have a reference dimension that is combination of basic dimension. For example, let's say you have a problem in which you require two dimensions, m by L square and L, m by T square. So this case, only two basic dimension is used. Three basic dimension is used. What are the basic dimension used in this problem? M, L, T, but the reference dimension will be 2 only, because in that case m by T square we will consider as a one dimension. Don't worry about this. We will discuss this again when we are discussing using the problems. So you can have some combination. So it is also possible that reference dimension can be some combination of basic dimension, some combination of basic dimension. So this can also be your reference dimension. So reference can be some combination of basic dimension. So in that case, your basic dimension can be more, but the reference dimension can be less, because you are putting into the different combinations. Now, how we do all this, how we apply this pi theorem? So there are different steps, and that we will discuss different steps. But to find pi terms, that is the dimensionless term, you must have, each term must be dimensionless. That is the combination of variable results in a dimensionless product. It must be independent and it must be right in numbers. So three things is important. So pi terms, it must be dimensionless. And the second thing, it should be independent. And finally, it should be right in number. So when we say right in number, this means if you have more number of variables in the problem becomes complex. You have more number of pi terms. So by experience, you have to find, for example, if you have a flow problem, flow in a pipe, then you have to see what are the variables that you will include. You cannot include more variables. That will unnecessarily increase the complexity of the problem. So you have to include optimum number or right number of variables or right number of pi terms. So we'll discuss different steps of applying this theorem. In the first step, list all the variables involved in the problems. So list all the variables. List all the variables involved in the problem. So how do you get these variables? You see what is the geometry of the system, what is the material property of the system, what are the forces, what are the external effects are acting on the system. So those are the variables. For example, first you can have geometry of system. So from there you can find diameter, length. So these are the variables. What are the fluid property of system? So fluid property, like viscosity, density, these are the fluid property of the system. External effect, that is the forces that is acting on your system. For example, what is the pressure drop per unit length? Or if you have any shear stresses, all these will come into the external effect. As I said, these variables, all these variables should be independent. You cannot choose dependent variable. For example, let's say if you have a geometry of system, so you are taking two variables, you are taking diameter and you are also taking area. But these two variables are not independent because area can be written in terms of diameter. So these two variables are not independent. So not independent in this case. So either you can take area or you take diameter. So this is not independent. So you have to choose only independent variable. For example, you have a density and this is often known as unit weight or a specific weight, and this is Z. So these three variables are not independent. So this is your density and this is your specific weight, and this is your gravity, acceleration due to gravity. So this is acceleration due to gravity. I'm writing in short gravity. So these are not independent because a specific weight is nothing but rho times Z. So this means this is not independent. So either you can consider rho or G as a variable, or you can consider gamma and G as a variable. So you cannot consider all the three, not independent in this case. So this is also not a case of not independent. So you have to take independent variable. So this is the first step. Now the second step of pi theorem is express each variable in terms of basic dimension. Express each variable in terms of basic dimensions. And basic dimension, the 7 dimension that you use in SI system, you can use FLT system or you can use MLT system. So density, the dimension of density will be ML, for example, or you can use FLT system, then this will be so this is the dimension for two terms. So similarly, whatever the variable you have, you just express in terms of basic dimension. So this is your step 2. In the third step, determine the required number of pi term. So determine the required number of pi terms. And how many pi terms? How we find? So we use Buckingham pi theorem. So Buckingham pi theorem says number of pi terms is equals to k minus r, where k is the independent variable and R is the reference dimension. So determine the required number of pi terms, and we use pi theorem in this case. So using this pi theorem, the number of pi terms, this is equals to k minus r, where r is the reference dimension. R is my reference dimension. So this is reference dimension. And k is number of independent variables. Reference dimension can be less than the basic dimension in case if basic dimension appears in combination. So as I said, reference dimension can be less than the basic dimension. For example, if you have three reference dimensions, so let's say you have this situation. So in this case, reference dimension is 2 only because you have M, another L. So basically these are not independent. So this part is not independent. So in this case, you have only 2 reference dimensions. In other cases also reference dimension, it is possible that a reference dimension can be less than the basic dimension. So this is your step 3 and this is your step 4. So in a step 4, select a number of repeating variables where the number required is equal to the number of reference dimension. Number of reference dimension. So now, once you know, so you have initially you have some variables, independent variable. In those independent variables, you have some reference dimension. And then you have to find repeating variables. So basically what you have to do is among those variables, you have to select repeating variables. And what will be the number of repeating variables? This is equals to the number of reference dimension. So this will lead to the formation of pi terms. So pi term formation. So these repeating variables we will use to form the pi terms. Now, when you are choosing the repeating variable, once again you have to make sure that by combining these repeating variable, you cannot form a dimensionless product. This means they should be independent. So repeating variables should also be independent. So repeating variables cannot themselves be combined to form a dimensionless product. Dimensionless product. So repeating variable, you cannot combine them to form a dimensionless product. For example, ML and MLT minus 2. So this is a repeating variable. This can be a repeating variable, but this cannot be a combination of a repeating variable because first and second you can form the third, or you can say by these three variables are not independent. So they cannot form a combination of repeating variables. Now in the fifth step, form a pi term. So form a pi term by multiplying one of the non-repeating variables non-repeating variable by the product product of the repeating variables. Repeating variables. Each raised to an exponent that will make combination dimensionless. Combination dimensionless. So what you have to do is, you have two kinds of variable. One is non-repeating, another is repeating. So now you take one of the non-repeating variable and take repeating variable, put some exponent, put some power, and from that you have to form a pi term by multiplying non-repeating variable with the repeating variable, and you have to raise some power to the repeating variable, and then you can form a pi term. So just to get some idea, when we will do a problem, then you can understand easily. These steps are not difficult. Now this is for one variable, so we have found one pi term. Now you have to repeat these steps to form more pi terms, and this you can do with the rest of the non-repeating variables. So repeat step 5 for each of the remaining non-repeating variables. So whatever non-repeating variable you have, you express all this and form a pi term. In the next step, check all the resulting, so this is just a check, pi terms are dimensionless. So if you perform all the expression correctly, you will find these are already dimensionless. And final step, that is at the step, express the final form as a relationship among the pi terms. Among the pi terms, and that is, you can write pi 1 is equals to phi function, another variable pi 2, pi 3, and pi k minus r. So we will illustrate this using an example, but before that, can anybody summarize whatever we have discussed here? Because generally I try to interact, or if you have some doubt. So can anybody summarize in short what are the steps that we have discussed? You don't have to tell me all the steps. Whatever you have learned, you just speak out. Anyone? Piyush? No one? Suman? Nitya? What do you understand? Am I audible or not? I don't know. Am I audible? Please tell me whether I am audible or not.
So you're audible.
Okay, okay, good. Okay, anyway, so I'm assuming that you don't have understood anything up to this point of time. That is fine. Now, I will illustrate this theorem or these steps using the problem, and towards the end of the problem you should be able to understand whatever we have discussed here. And this problem is same as that we have started in the previous class. Let's say you have a pipe and water is flowing through this pipe. Diameter of this pipe is d, that is given, and the velocity of flow of water is v, density, viscosity, these things are given. Let's call this is cross section 1 and let's call this is cross section at 2, and we are interested to find delta P1 by L, that is P2 minus P1 by L. So pressure gradient, you can say what is the change in pressure per unit length. So what is my problem? My problem is I want to find change in pressure per unit length if water is flowing through a closed circular pipe of diameter d, velocity v, density rho, and viscosity mu. So the first step was find out all the variables. So I can say from my guess, I have to consider geometric variables and other variables, material variables, and based upon the experience, and we have to take minimum number, optimum number of variables. So we can think of this pressure change or pressure gradient can be a function of diameter, density, viscosity, and velocity. So we are making an assumption based upon the previous assumption, previous experience. We are thinking of that this pressure gradient is a function of 4 variables. Now the second term or the second step is write down dimensions of all the 4 variables that you have. Basically in this case 5 variables. This is also a 5th variable. So 4 you can say independent variable, and then you are writing this is in terms this delta PL you are writing in terms of these variables. So 5 variables you have. Now what you have to do is you have to express dimensions of these variables. So let us do a task and write down the dimension of each variable in terms of FLT. So do this work and give me the dimension of each variable in terms of FLT. So I'm waiting for some time and you give me the dimension of each term in terms of FLT. So I am choosing basic dimension as FLT, and you have to give me the dimension of each term. So what is the dimension of delta PL?
FL square.
Basically delta PL is delta P by L also. So when I am writing delta PL, so this is, let me make this little bit more clear. So when I am saying delta PL, this means change in pressure per unit length. So then what is the unit dimension? F L
minus 3.
Yeah, and diameter is L. What is density? F L
minus 4.
And now what is the viscosity? F Tell me.
FL minus 2T.
Good. And then velocity is LT minus 1. So this is my second step. I have to write dimension of each term. Please keep noting on your notebook because I will ask later. And the third step, you have to find total number of variable and reference dimension. So I can say total number of variable, in this case k is equals to 5. And what is reference dimension? Reference dimension. How many reference dimension we have?
3.
Good, because you see we have used F, we have used L, we have used T also in this expression. So we have 3 reference dimension. So how many number of pi terms are needed? Anyone?
2.
Good. So number of pi terms is equals to k minus r, that is 2. K is 5 and r is 3. So this completes my third step. In the fourth step, I have to select the repeating variable and non-repeating variable. So generally repeating variables are selected from the input variables. That in this case delta PL, that is pressure gradient, is your output variable. So we will not select repeating variable from that will be not be the repeating variable. So we have to select repeating variable from d mu and this d rho mu and v. From this there are 4 variables. You have to select the repeating variable. Select the repeating variable. You have to select the repeating variable. And how many repeating variable I have to select? 3. So because 3 reference dimension is 3, then reference dimension is equals to the number of repeating variable that we discussed earlier. So we have to select 3 repeating variables because reference dimensions are 3. And it is always good idea to select the simplest variable whose dimension is simplest is chosen as a repeating variable. So among 4 you have to select 3. You can select any 3, but you have to make sure that these are dimensionally independent. Like you are choosing 3 and you find later that the third one can be written in terms of first 2, then this is not a combination of repeating variable. For example, let's say I choose D, B and rho as repeating variable. What are the dimension? D is L, B is LT minus 1 and rho is F, L minus 4, T minus 2. And you can check clearly these are dimensionally independent because this includes F and this 2 does not include F. So no way you can write the third one in terms of first 2. So I can clearly say that this is dimensionally independent. So these variables are dimensionally independent. So now what is fifth step? Anyone? So we have considered the repeating variable. So what are the repeating variable? We have found. And what should I do next? And we have to form 2 pi terms. So 3 variable we have selected. We have 5 variables total. 3 are repeating, 2 are non-repeating. What are the non-repeating? Delta PL is non-repeating, and the next one is viscosity. No, viscosity is also your non-repeating variable because viscosity we have not taken. So what will be the fifth step? Can anyone tell me? You read your notebook and tell me what should I do in the fifth step. At least one student should tell me, because in each class, whenever I ask, at least there are 1 or 2 students are always there. So tell me, anyone please. And there is nothing new. We already discussed all this thing. Yogesh, any idea what should we do in the fifth step? Tell me anything.
So we have to form a dimensionless pi term.
Good. So what should I do?
We have to multiply the non-repeating variable with some product of the repeating variables.
Very good. So what we have to do is now we have to form 2 pi terms. So first pi term I will form. Let's take first non-repeating variables. There are 2 non-repeating variables. I am first taking delta PL and then take the repeating variable. dV rho. Raise some power. So these are repeating and this is non-repeating. In this case, non-repeating is a dependent variable. And then, so this is repeating. So non-repeating you can say. And in this case, non-repeating is basically dependent. Now pi I know that is dimensionless. So this pi is dimensionless. Now this is your turn. You have to give me the value of A, B, C. So do some work. Give me the value of A, B, C. What is the value of A? What is the value of B? What is the value of C? How will you find? You have to equate the dimensions. Left side dimension is 0, 0, 0. Right side FL minus 3, L raised to the power A, LT minus 1 raised to the power B, FL minus 4 T raised to the power C, FL minus 4 T2 raised to the power C. So you write three equations, one for F, one for L, and one for T, and give me the value of A, B, C. Anyone? Can I solve for ABC?
So I got A as 0, B as minus 2, and C as minus 1.
But value of A is not correct.
Sir, A is 1,
Good, good. A is 1, B is minus 2, and C is
C is minus 1.
good. So I am not doing this equation solving, and you can do at your home. Then once you find ABC value, you can express pi 1 is equals to, put all this ABC value in this expression, pi 1 expression. Then you will find delta PL D divided by rho V square. So this is your first non-dimensional term, that is pi 1. Now the step 6 is repeat the step 5 for all non-repeating variable. So we have done for one variable. We have to repeat for all variables. So step 6, the process is now repeated for the remaining non-repeating variable. So this is for remaining non-repeating variables. Which variable is still I have to consider?
Viscosity.
Viscosity. Good. So this is DABC, D raised to the power A, V raised to the power B, rho raised to the power C. Do some work. Give me the value of ABC. Anyone? Himanshu Gupta. What is the value of ABC? Are you doing this calculation?
From -3, 1 and -1.
So this I have, let me see. Okay, -1, -1 and -1.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you check yourself. A is -1, B is -1, and C is -1. You may have made some mistake, that is okay. Once you check, then you will find these are the value that is coming. So pi 2 is equals to viscosity divided by d0. So this is your second pi term. So we form two pi term. One is delta PL d divided by rho v square, and the second pi term, that is viscosity mu divided by d0. And now in the final step, that is the eighth step, I think this is the eighth step. In this step, you have to express the result of pi 1 and pi 2. So you can write pi 1 is equals to as a function of pi 2. So some function you can have, so you can pi 1 in this case delta PL d divided by rho v square, and this is some function phi mu divided by d0. So this is your expression. So you can find, once you know this functional form is still not known, and this you have to find from the experiment. So this functional form is still unknown. But what I found, that this 5 variable problem can be reduced into 2 variable problem. So we can study this pi problem. So what is the conclusion? Conclusion is the pi problem can be studied in terms of 2 pi variables, or 2 pi terms, variables or pi terms, rather than 5 variables as we started with, rather than 5 variables as we started with. So this means if you do some experiment, then you can also find this functional form. So the pi problem we can solve, this functional form can be found using experiment. On the y-axis you plot one pi term, that is delta PL times diameter divided by rho v square, and this rho v d by nu on the second axis, and then you get these points, and you can basically fit a function, something like this. If you are getting these points, you can fit a function. You can also find functional form. Now this term rho v d by nu, this term, what this term is called? Anyone having idea? What
So Reynolds number.
Reynolds number. Good. So this term is called Reynolds number. And that's why Reynolds number is important. Reynolds number is not coming like it is coming from analysis. It's not like an arbitrary assumed number. So this is coming from, so there are many numbers, we'll discuss later also. There are many numbers, dimensionless number, dimensionless terms. That is important in fluid dynamics, because most of the things we cannot perform using analysis. You have to do some kind of experimental work, and those functional form can be found. Okay, I hope this illustrates the Buckingham pi theorem. We will do some more examples, some more concepts, extension of this in the next class. If you have something, then you can ask, otherwise you can log out. If you have any doubt or anything, then we can discuss it here.